Hi and welcome back to Order Flow Tools. This is Order Flow Tools 107 Vwap, or Volume Weighted Average Price. And this is a very interesting indicator. Really interesting volume level, which is basically the average price weighted by volume. So it's just like an average, right? Sort of a moving average, you could say, you could argue. But that takes into consideration also the volume. So what was the average price where the average volume was traded? And for example, in a session, after a session, this might be the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. For example, in a session like this, you could see maybe at the end of the session, this would be the VWAP. But it develops throughout the whole session. It starts here, and then it follows price typically, right? So you can see the development of the VWAP throughout the day. And why is this important? Is because it is knowingly, it's very known to be an institutional reference for filling orders. Because this is objectively telling you the volume weighted average price. So if you have a VWAP, if this is the VWAP of a session, anything below the VWAP is objectively discount based on the price and based on the volume. Anything above this will be premium, objectively based on price and volume, based on money. Let's take an example here, and we have plotted here the VWAP, right? And the VWAP, you can simply create an order flow VBP values or deep profile values. Go to the VWAP, enable it, and enable the developing VWAP, and this will appear exactly like this. So every session has its own volume weighted average price moving up and down. And you'll see that a lot of the times, this will be the level that they'll keep buying and selling at. And it will serve as an area of support or resistance or a breakout type of thing. Even better than that, as we know that this is a dynamic representation of fair value, so we could call it a dynamic fair value, so the adapted average fair value of the day, we can also use the same statistical concept of standard deviation and plot standard deviation bands all around it. So we go into the settings and activate the envelopes, and in the settings, we set the first envelope with a standard deviation parameter of 1. I have typically 1.5 standard deviation, 2 standard deviations, and 3 standard deviations. So I normally have 1, 2, and 3. You can have 1.5, 2.5, however you like it. We apply it, and we get these bands. And these are, again, just like we did with the volume profile, where we had most of the volume traded here and anomalies happening outside, and that's where we look for trade opportunities, not in the middle, right? Because that's where the average goes. Same thing happens here. The only thing is, this is the first standard deviation. This is the second standard deviation. This is the third standard deviation, right? So remember our bell curve. Our bell curve will be something like this. It's the same thing, but it's not just based on volume, but based on volume and price. This is going to be the average, and these are the standard deviations from the average. And whenever we reach the second or third standard deviation, that's where typically you're going to see a lot of rejection and a lot of de-retracements and mean reversion setups starting to happen. So you can either use these as dynamic target levels or as extremes where it could be worth considering buying and selling to and from. And these are, let's say, the most statistically reliable references, and they are widely used for best execution algorithm in the institutional space. So they will, if they want to sell for that session, they will try their best to fill above here, and if they buy, they'll try their best to fill below here. And that's just what a lot of firms do in case they have big orders to pour into the market and they want to have a better fill. They just take the VWAP as a reference and fill above or below based on their trade direction. So that's why this is such a powerful tool. This is a powerful institutional reference that you can plot on top of your analysis. Don't overuse it, or maybe just focus, but don't try and put too many things on the chart. Just take it as a reference, but as a reference that is backed by money, is backed by institutional order flow, and by statistical analysis.